does, it's good for you. Okay? So when you express gratitude, okay, what happens to your brain? It changes chemistry. Okay? Neurochemical. Okay, neuro meaning thinking, neuro, brain. Okay? Neurochemical. So what happens? Well, your dopamines, you get dopamine hits by that. Okay? When you say thank you, when you express gratitude. Okay? So we know that dopamine happens. Okay, what is that? Well, you feel motivated, you feel uplifted, you feel rewarded. Those are dopamine hits that you get just by saying thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning. Good morning, you guys. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Ruben. So what else happens? Well, your serotonin levels increase. Okay? It starts to boost your serotonin production. So what does that do? Mood stability. Okay? So it allows you to be in a better mood for a longer period of time. Emotional resilience. Okay, what does that mean? Resilience, when you bounce back from something. Okay, so let's say something bad happens. You don't stay in a bad mood for a long period of time. You get over it, you move back, you're resilient, you bounce back. Okay, basically that's what it means. So now, what else happens when you say thank you? Okay, these are all effects from gratitude. Okay, gratitude lowers stress hormones. Okay, the biggest, of course, cortisol. Okay, it starts to lower your cortisol levels by 23% in some studies, just by saying thank you, just by being grateful. Good morning, Jay. Just by being grateful. Okay, that happens. Now, gratitude strengthens emotional regulation networks. Okay, your prefrontal cortex. Okay, the frontal lobe of your brain. Okay, it's the executive center because it makes the decisions, remember? So it's your conscious, subconscious, superconscious. Your conscious mind is your prefrontal cortex. Okay, that's your processing center. Okay, or we can say it another way. If you look at it like a computer, it's your operating system. It thinks 80,000 thoughts a day. And of those 80,000 thoughts, your predominant thoughts go into your subconscious. Okay, so what happens with gratitude? Improved emotional control, better decision making. Okay, because your prefrontal cortex makes the decisions that go into your subconscious. Okay, reduced reactivity to stress. Okay, the way you react to stress. Okay, it starts to calm down. Okay, and you also have an increased ability to interpret events positively. So you start to see things in a positive light when you're grateful. Okay, when you say thank you. So in the beginning, yeah, when I first did back in 2007, when I first did my first gratitude practice, you know, um, I was like, thank you for the trees, thank you for the buildings, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, that kind of thing. And I didn't start really feeling it until the second week. And then the second week of the gratitude practice, I'm like, wow, why? Because it goes into your subconscious. Okay. And it takes about 2 weeks for you to feel a shift when you do these things. Okay. When you do anything new to the subconscious in repetition, it takes about 2 weeks. And then you start to feel a small shift. And then you feel a larger shift. And then your subconscious begins repeating the process. So the good news is when you develop good habits, okay, or when you develop new practices, a new routine, exercise routine, okay, and I showed people on my Facebook this when I was in my stories, when I was developing my new routine. So I started a new routine. I used to run walk at the beach, and now my new routine includes the gym in the morning. At 3 o'clock in the morning or 3:15 or whenever I get there. And so now my new routine, right? So I built the new routine over 2 weeks and I showed people how I did that. Okay, so it's very easy to do. Okay, and then the subconscious makes it a habit. So then you don't have to struggle with it. You don't have to push through it. You don't have to push for it. Your subconscious goes, hey, it's 3 o'clock. time to go to the gym. Let's go. Okay? It's on automatic pilot. And this is how you make money. Okay? This is how you make, if you're an entrepreneur, this is how you set up the paradigm to make money. Because you know what you need to do, right? You know what you need to do to accomplish sales. You know what you need to do to accomplish clients, or to satisfy clients, or to serve clients, or to, right? That kind of thing. So you know what you need to do. But when your subconscious does it in repetition, it's easy. Money just comes. Money just, so in my life, money comes very easily, quickly, and plentifully, and it circulates. It circulates because it comes in, it goes out, right? Money comes in, pay bills, money goes out. Okay, money comes in, money goes out. And you save a little off the top, okay? Or you invest off the top. I invest money, I make money work for me. But I'm just saying, okay, it's that cycle that you need to establish, it's that cycle that you need to build. And once you build that cycle, all you need to do is maintain it. Okay, so that may mean a little effort here, a little effort there. You know, when you're spinning a plate, I'm sure maybe you haven't spun a plate, but when you see those guys and they're spinning plates, they only have to do a little maintenance to keep it spinning. Okay, it spins on its own. Okay, and every once in a while they'll tap it like that to keep it spinning. And that's this guy is always single mom hunting. Who is this? Reggie Truthbomb. Are you talking about me, Reggie? Okay. Reggie Truthbombs. All right. So, and it just takes a little bit, okay? It's a little bit of plate spinning, but the maintenance is very minimal. Okay, so it's not like you have to start the plate. It's that you just have to keep it going. And it's the same thing in the subconscious. It's the same thing. So gratitude strengthens emotional regulation networks in the brain. Okay, what else does gratitude do? Well, it also helps with your amygdala. Okay, it makes it manageable. So your amygdala is your fight or flight response. It's your threat detector. Okay, if there's a threat, your amygdala is going to say, hey, it's going to put you on alert, okay? But with gratitude, what happens is it relaxes the amygdala. It relaxes it, okay? So what happens is pretty soon over time, your amygdala gives you less of a severe reaction, okay? The reactivity time is slower, it slows down, okay? Generally, you have 6 seconds to make a commitment. Okay, so you have 6 seconds to make a commitment to stop a thought before the emotion comes, okay? Or before you feel the emotion of the negative thought. With a lot of gratitude, it may be 8 seconds, okay? Because you're not on alert, because you're not actively looking out for something to go wrong, okay? Because you're in gratitude, okay? So things quiet down, things ease up. Okay, now GABA, calming the neurotransmitter. Okay, so your neurotransmitters that fire the hormones like oxytocin, endorphins, okay, it starts to relax because of the prefrontal cortex inhibitions. Okay, once you relax the prefrontal cortex, everything begins to relax, the amygdala begins to relax. Okay, and you begin to relax as a whole. Does grit, patience, persistence, and perspiration work in relationships as well, or only in goals? No, it works in everything in your life. Everything in your life. So when you talk about grit, persistence, perspiration, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be that extreme when you use your subconscious, okay? If you're using your conscious mind, which most people do because they don't commit it to their subconscious, then yes, a lot of perspiration is required. And the perspiration is required because you're not engaging the subconscious in the process. Okay. So there's your conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. The superconscious is what we call God. We put God in that category. Okay. But if you think that hard work and grit, persistence is more consistency. Okay. Um, Persistence as a verb is a more action oriented thing. Um, Perspiration implies hard work. You don't have to work hard. You have to know how to work this one. You have to know how to work this. Okay. There's working hard and there's working long, and there's working well overall. So yeah, don't be convinced that you have to work hard. That's a plantation paradigm. That's an outdated paradigm. Pretty soon with AI is going to be manufacturing everything. Nobody's going to have to work hard. Okay, so it's going to be it's already a different kind of work that we're doing. Okay, so like in my life, I don't work hard, but I do work long. I work many hours, but I don't work hard. So yeah, half of that you need to reconsider. Okay, Mansa, there you go. All right, so what else does gratitude do? Okay, so gratitude allows you to receive more because gratitude is engaging all these neurochemicals that make you feel good in your brain. Okay, and that leads to a higher vibration. So, vibration in humans is not the same as in science, as in resonance vibration. Okay, it's not like a tuning fork vibration. It's a little bit different, although we do have a frequency. So, every human being is born with a frequency. Okay, because we have energy in us because our heart is beating. So, we do have a frequency. But when we mention, raise your frequency, raise your vibration, what we're talking about is your mood. Because when your mood is good, or let's say when you're happy, you start to attract happy things. Okay, like attracts like. So if you're happy, you're going to attract happy people, or let's say positive people, or let's say people who are satisfied, or people who are content. And when that happens, you're going to be in the company of people that probably have stuff. Okay, they have a position, or they have money, or they have abundance of some sort, or they have something that they can add to you, or an opportunity could be created. Okay, because if you're, in other words, what I'm really saying is you're not going to attract losers. Okay, nobody wants to hang out with a loser. Okay, so if somebody is depressed and upset and down, and right, you're not going to want to hang out with them. Okay, and they can't do anything for you. Why? Well, have you ever seen a loser? Right? They're called losers for a reason. And I'm not saying that you should call these people losers, but people who are, you know, let's say negative or angry or upset or whatever, irritated, those types of personalities, okay, they push everything away from them. You want to be around people that attract things into your circle or your life or their life so you can become a part of that. Okay, because those are the people that you want to hang out with. And this is why they say, show me the 5 closest friends of yours and I'll tell you who you are. Because like attracts like. Okay, you're going to see all the people that love to gossip, they all hang out together. Okay, I've worked in corporations where, these little cliques form, right? And all they do is talk about other people. So small minds discuss others. Okay, big minds or large minds, or let's say minds that actually that are productive, okay, they discuss possibilities. What's the stock market going to do next week? What are these investments? How do you think this company is going to perform? Should we invest in this company or not? Those kinds of things. Successful people do discuss money a lot. Okay, I'm not on earth to accumulate $1 billion. That's not my thing. Okay, I'm on earth to teach. That's my method. My mission, my method is to inspire others. Okay, because there was, I'll tell you the side story. There was this guy that was a really good salesman, and he wrote a book called Persuade. I'm not here to persuade anybody. Okay, so he wrote this book called Persuade. And he was convinced that the key to good salesmanship was persuading. Okay, I'm here to tell you that the most effective way for you to sell anything is to inspire, not persuade. Persuade means you're trying to change someone's mind. Inspire means you're showing this person how good whatever it is, right? How good this thing is, or this product is, or this service is, or whatever you have, right? And people will see that. People aren't stupid. They see the good in things. They will see it and they'll buy, like, automatically. Okay, I'm also not here to sell you anything, so there's no sales pitch at the end of the lives every day. I know some people are surprised. They're like, dude, what do you have for sale? I'm like, well, nothing. I'm here to teach. Okay, so hopefully this inspires you, and hopefully you take away some of the knowledge, okay, that we give in the mornings, so that you can apply it to your life. Because when you use this system, the 4 pillars, affirmation, meditation, vocalization, and visualization, when you apply this to any one thing, it has to happen. It cannot not happen. Why? Because you're a human being. Because you have perception. Okay? Because when you focus on something, the reticular activating system in your brain focuses out everything you're not focused on. And it hones in on whatever the focus is, and it shows it to you more. Okay? And that's a process of manifestation. Now, there's so many things in the world. Okay? Whatever it is you're after will become more apparent when you focus on it. This is about applied focus. Manifest. Your kingdom is within. Everything you need to bring things to you is in here. It's not out here. Okay, out here are constructs, physical constructs from other people's in here. That's what's out here. Okay, I'm a little behind in my messages here. Sorry, guys. Do I have any pinned comments? No? Okay, good. Sorry, we have a chat going on over here. Everything you need to attract the things into your life that were meant for you, to accentuate your life. Okay, so in other words, if you're a carpenter, if that's who you are, you're a carpenter. That's what you do. That's what you live for. That's what you enjoy. That's your passion, okay? Then you are going to attract the carpenter jobs. You are going to attract other carpenters.